This is a CBC News special presentation.
There we are, the skyline of downtown Toronto on election night, October 19th, 2015. You're looking at the ceiling there, the Barbara Frum atrium of the Broadcast Centre, the CBC Broadcast Centre in Toronto. This is our election night headquarters. Barbara would have loved a night like this. She loved elections. She loved the excitement of those nights. This is going to be one of them. All sorts of excitement planned for this evening as the votes start to be counted in just 30 minutes' time. Let's look at the overall numbers in Atlantic Canada in terms of the vote change that we've witnessed so far tonight, because it always tells a story. We're hearing Peter MacKay, hopeful that this isn't a trend that begins to splash across the country, but he sounded only hopeful, not convinced that that might not happen. Things do seem to be happening across many parts of Atlantic Canada, obviously, tonight. They've got 19 new seats, the Liberals, for a total of 31. That's leading and elected 19 new seats. 24 of their overall total of 31 now are elected, so they're getting very close to being able to say they're definitely going to win a lot of seats in Atlantic Canada tonight. The Conservatives down 13. This is where all these seats are coming from. The NDP are down 6. So it is a disastrous night for the NDP so far. All of these seats aren't settled for the NDP. Jack Harris riding is still up for grabs. And I believe, Rosie, the Megan Leslie riding is still...
Dartmouth, Cole Harbour.
There it is.
That this is a gain for the Liberal Party. But look at the margins here. Darren Fisher has won this riding by more than almost 6,000 votes. The last time, Robert Chisholm won the riding by 500. So it's not just that the Liberal Party is winning. They are winning big in these ridings. And they are taking from people that you wouldn't expect them to take. We are not talking here about MPs that were elected surprisingly in 2011. We are talking about established ridings and established people inside these ridings. Now I've got Sackville Preston, and let me show you what's going on here. This as well, elected. The Liberal candidate here, Daryl Sampson, has defeated Peter Stauffer.
But nevertheless, this is the broad sweep of the look of things as it stands right now. It's going to change before the evening ends, but it's not going to change in any dramatic fashion in terms of first, second, and third. But 180, when you start with 34, going in, even if you're going to have a spectacular campaign, nobody assumes it's going to be anything like this.
And this is exactly the story that we were thinking might happen with these urban centers. If you start to pick up these broad swaths, as you see there on the map, of these urban centers in and around Toronto, you start to win. And if you go through the Toronto belt right now, there's only right now a couple of Conservatives who are potentially holding, one of them Lisa Raitt, the transport minister. But when you get into Toronto proper, it is Liberal leads right down the whole board. Right down the whole board, even in places where the Liberals did not expect to make any progress. So let me bring you through a few of them, and they are coming largely here at the expense of the NDP. Let me show you the first one. This is Davenport. Again, Andrew Cash.
That something had failed really quite badly in the NDP campaign. And it did make me wonder, okay, he's probably got another announcement that he's going to make about his future at some point, because you could interpret part of what he was saying was, this idea of us forming a government, let's banish that idea and go back to being a party that champions specific causes but doesn't really try to form a government. That's how you could interpret some of those comments. And when you think about where he was when he started this campaign, he was ahead in the polls, and he shed support all the way through this campaign. That was a failure on his part, a failure on the party's part, and the party really needs to decide going forward whether it wants to try to go back towards a winning position.
That Canadians sent today. Canadians chose change, real change.
Sunny ways, my friends. Sunny ways. This is what positive politics can do. This is what a positive, hopeful vision and a platform and a team together can make happen.
Welcome back to After the Vote. I'm Ian Hannah-Mansing, and we are live on CBC Television and CBC News Network from the Broadcast Centre in Toronto. Let's begin this hour's coverage by a look at what happened, depending on where you are, yesterday in the Eastern Time Zone, already after 2 o'clock and just 11 o'clock Pacific Time. But take a look at the party standings. A majority government for the Liberal Party of Canada, the Conservatives now the official opposition, and the NDP falling from opposition to third place. A lot of questions about how the Bloc Québécois would do at the end of the day. They have 10 seats, and Elizabeth May remains the one Green MP in the House of Commons.